Abdul Abdurasulov reporting. Now, nicknames for professional footballers aren't often that inspired. Think Bex or Gaza. But one exception is a great Liverpool player from the 1970s, Steve Highway. He was that rarest of creatures, a top-flight player with a degree. That earned him the nickname Bamba, after Bamba Gascoigne, the then presenter of University Challenge. Well, footballers have acquired the reputation for not being that clever, but actually a new academic study seems to contradict that theory. It says they are super clever with superior cognitive function. Leonardo Bonetti is a research fellow in psychiatry at Oxford University. He's the lead author of the study and joins us now from Italy. Good evening, Leonardo.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us how you carried it out. These weren't IQ tests exactly, were they? But what you looked at 200 Brazilian and Swedish footballers.
Yes, exactly. We wanted to try to define a sort of ideal psychological profile of the elite football players. And we focused on the one hand on cognitive abilities and on the other hand on personality traits. And for cognitive abilities, as you mentioned, we really wanted to cover a sort of large set of tests, and we studied executive functions, memory, planning, and abilities of solving logical problems.
And what did you find exactly?
We found that the football players, as you mentioned before, were characterized by very higher level of cognitive abilities compared to the controls. And that was true across essentially all of the tests that we used.
And what did you make of the results? What explains them, do you think?
Well, our interpretation and also the reason why we did the study is that we wanted to essentially see and check whether football was just about physical abilities and game-related abilities, or if there was something more about that. And it turned out that these psychological profiles seem to be key for being a good football players. And we expect that this is the case because, for instance, if you want to be good at making dribbles or the right pass at the right time, or shooting when you have to shoot, you need to have a very high level of cognitive abilities in order to make the right decisions at the right time.
Thanks, Leonardo. Let's bring in Five Live's Adrian Charles, long-time football presenter, of course. Adrian, any surprise that footballers are actually super clever?
Absolutely no surprise whatsoever. If you give it any thought, just on every level, you see they just have to be special people. You know, if there's 1,000 kids taken on at the age of 9 by some football academy or other, that one of them might make it through, and they'll make it through. They make it through with extreme levels of focus and fitness, looking after their bodies and their minds. They've got to be able to take on a huge amount of information very quickly and make on-the-spot decisions all over the chaos of the football pitch. Now, look, they might not be able to, give you the capital of Uruguay or tell you what the currency is in Chad or something, but there's a fantastic level of intelligence exercised at high speed.
Where do you think the sort of cliche then about the thick footballer comes from? Is it because they kind of keep themselves to themselves a bit when they do the press conference? They don't want to give too much away. Is it sort of jealousy? People can't accept that these young guys have got so much money.
I think all of the above. But also, I've got to say, I think there might be a slight class thing with football. With footballers, you don't get this with rugby players. You don't get these with cricketers because football is still basically young working class men and increasingly women. So I think that is part of it. There's kind of looked down upon in some way and judged more harshly.
Just a quick final word, Leonardo. You did speak to women footballers and men footballers as well, didn't you? Any differences?
Well, not really. Actually, it turned out that for what we could test, at least, both males and females were characterized by very higher level of cognitive abilities. So there's no gender difference to our knowledge.
Well, it's good to know. So footballers very much in the clever class, and thanks very much for that, Adrian Charles and Leonardo Bonetti, research fellow in psychiatry at Oxford, who led that study into footballers. And that is The World Tonight. This is James Kamarasamy. For now, from me and from everyone on the programme, good night.